What's up, traders? This is VinnBoss Signal Factory. Now I welcome you to this video. Please make sure you like and subscribe on these videos if they do help you see how the market unfolds week in and week out. So without wasting further time, let's jump over to this chart and realize what happened or what should have happened last week. Now, without wasting further much time, this was last week's analysis. We were expecting a bounce on this area between 1.1754 and 1.1749. Now, what I was expecting to see on Monday was the market to come, test here, and then continue to the upside. Let's see very much what happened during that time of the week. Now, as you can see on Monday, this was our area of invalidation, 1.1706. Now the market went straight without pausing here at our area of interest to go to the upside, but instead we went directly down, which allowed the sellers to take control. Now, if you are a registered member, you would understand and you would also know that this is a change of structure. We talked about this on Monday, and what we did expect was a change of structure here again, a continuation, which means this would have meant that a retest up here and a continuation to go down and make 1:3. We have rules why our take profit sometimes change from 1:3, and sometimes it makes a new low. So if you do not understand why we change take profit based on different setups, you need to register. It is free. After you register, you find your account, and then we start taking it from there. We give you signals, we give you a free course, and we monitor the trades together. And also, without wasting further time, this is completely free. You do not pay anyone for our services. So going deeper into the market on the euro dollar, we are what did we do? Did we take this signal? No, we did not take this signal first, as we were already waiting for a new break of structure again, which was this level. From here, this was a structure all on its own, and this was a confirmation of a new break of structure. And then what we were waiting for is another confirmation to go low again. So this was the confirmation that we got during the week. This was our signal. This was our signal. And if you are not part of our VIP group, make sure you register, you fund your account, and make sure you do not miss any of these signals during this week. So without wasting ample time again with the analysis, this was the signal. This was how we did take the sell, and it was good. It was a good 1:3 risk to reward ratio. So this is the target on the euro dollar. Now let's go over to this weekly forex forecast on the euro and the dollar. Let's go and see what happens this week. So with the euro dollar, now this week, this is how we are structured together with the market. So this week, what to expect? I am expecting if the market can give us a better correction, maybe to retest 1.1749 or 1.1764, we are going to look for bearish patterns and formations around this area right here. And then after finding bearish patterns and formation, we will still be looking for short opportunities, because now the dollar has regained strength over some currencies, and we will look at that on the coming currencies. So without wasting further much time, this week we are now expecting dollar strength over the euro, even though the euro is a bit stronger. So without wasting further time, again, one last time, we are expecting a pullback and a continuation to the downside. So this is what I'm expecting, yet this plan will be invalid only if we were to look for a different setup, and a different setup would be in terms that this market shoots up very straight to the upside and it does not even pause. Let's say we have a strong pullback like this, it breaks above this area and even above 1.1785, then that would simply mean that the buyers have now taken control in this pair. So what should we expect in this scenario? What we expect in this scenario is a pullback right around this same area that we are expecting to see as uh, our supply zone, and then instead of selling, we would be looking for a bullish continuation to the upside to invalidate the trend as it did happen last week on the euro and the dollar. But in this scenario, it will be invalidated for a buy and not for a sell. So remember, it is free to register to get this kind of signals. So if you are interested in joining the VIP group, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, like the videos, click the link within the video description. You will see our registration link, and then registration is free. After registering, verify your account. After verifying your trading account, make sure that you deposit the minimum of $20 for those of you who want to test waters. But if you are really into trading, it will be best if you deposit $100, the minimum, and then continue from there to make sure that you continue making money with us. So after the registration, you show the proof of registration and an account that is verified to us, and then you start receiving unlimited signals. Remember, you can WhatsApp us. We leave our WhatsApp numbers below the video description also. So without wasting further time, let's go over to the pound and the dollar. So with the pound last week, what we were expecting, guys, is the same as what we'll be expecting this week. Nothing to change, but still looking for bearish opportunities. Now, as you remember, last week I said this was our structure, and I was very much looking for a sell around this area, 1.3701, 1.37, excuse me, 1.3674. Those were the particular areas where I'm looking for a selling opportunities. And if we did not do that, if we went straight through to break 1.3779, we would change our plan. So it would not only be a buying opportunities then, but the structure would have changed completely. So let's jump into this week and see what truly transpired during the week. So as we opened the week, we were very much aware of this strong dollar strength that pressurized the pound from the beginning of the week. And trust me, all these signals that we give here, we share them during the week, we share them at the end of the week. So we will also continue sharing them this week also. So if you did not see them, go to our YouTube channel. You will see the pictures there. We have posted all those pictures. Go to our Facebook page, go to our Instagram page, same way to VinnBoss Signal Factory. So without wasting further time, let's continue over to this chart again and see this was how the market unfolded during the week. So we pretty have much to show you, but to remind you that you are missing out on fantastic setups if you're not a registered member or if you're still trading demo account. Now, what happened during the week? We sold from this area, we made 1:3, and we saw another opportunity because we are, remember, we are also trading correlation. So we were aware of the fact that on Tuesday here, the euro and the dollar, the pair was somehow structured to the downside because of the invalidation of our buyers. So without wasting further time, what did we do? We saw the opportunity on Thursday to go extremely short on the euro and the dollar, and it went as fantastic as it did. So we did go again and open a second trade right here, which was 1:3 from this level here, and then we did make a fantastic sell again. All that I am talking about is posted on YouTube. Check our pictures there and follow our last week's analysis. Follow every week's analysis to stay in the market loop and make sure you do not miss any of this setup. So without wasting much of our time again, let's go over to this week's Forex forecast on what will happen on the pound and the dollar. So traders, with the pound dollar this week, what I am expecting to see is a more of a continuation to the downside. And how is that market expectations of me going to play out? So without wasting further time, this is what I'm expecting. I'm expecting to see a pullback right here on this level of 1.3585, 1.3574. This area right here is the most area that I'm looking for bearish patterns and formations. So if I do find setups that allow me to sell, this is going to be the scenario. I'm going to go for shorts down to this area right here to take profit at 1.3480. So if this does not necessarily happen, remember, you always have to be open-minded and not closed to the fact. So if this does not happen like we intend it to do, this would be the case. Since the pound is very weak, it might happen that we end around this area right here at 1.3534. So we might go and retest here because it's not strong enough, the pound, and we might start to see shorts coming in from this lower area. But again, there's another opportunity that we might continue going down and then a retest and then continue again down. So there are separate scenarios in which this is going to turn out, or in which this might turn out. What you have to do is register and fund your account to only understand and receive accurate daily analysis and signals. If you are ready to trade the real account, this is the community that you must join. So without wasting further time, let me show you what might happen if we are wrong about selling the pound against the dollar. What might happen is the market might shoot very straight up like this without any pullback, invalidate 1.3648, and then come back down, retest this area right here as broken resistance, turning support, and then from here the market will fly up and continue up. Remember, we will always be looking for bullish patterns and formations only if this scenario happens. But if you don't know how to take this, or if you would never know how the market will unfold, remember, patience is the key in trading. So some of the people, when they see the market is already here, they will start selling automatically without waiting or finding the correct setups for you to that allows traders to sell, and then they just jump in and then they lose. Remember, some people take the same signals and some lose and some win. It is not the signal that is wrong, it is only the mindset, how you perceive the market, and how and how you see the market. So without wasting further time, we get deeper into that during our one-on-one sessions or our daily sessions, because um, traders have a lot of questions during the market when the market is open. Right now, the market is quiet. Everybody's enjoying their holidays or their weekends. And then when we do come back, we do focus every single day on this. So without wasting further time, let me remind you again, this is the setup and we are not looking for any bullish setups. We are only looking for selling opportunities, and only if this is the case we get a pullback to this level, and then now we continue down, break of structure, retest, and then a continuation will be imminent. So without wasting further time, let's go over to the euro and the Canadian dollar. So with the euro and the Canadian dollar, as we can see, last week we were expecting various patterns and formations, and this pair has been extremely slow during the week because the Canadian dollar has lost strength of during the week. So if the Canadian dollar was too strong, it was still going to go fast and sharp. Remember, this to me looked like an A setup. This looked like a fantastic setup for me, but it wasn't. Do you understand that the Canadian dollar lost some of its strength during the week, and so did the euro lose the strength during the week. So it did, which will define what truly happened uh, last week. So without wasting further time, let's jump in and let me show you that this is why you don't have to be emotional on setups that you think are fantastic. Sometimes things change over the week because we are living in a market that is continuously changing based on different factors. And yeah, so let me show you. On Monday, this is what happened. You get a fantastic sell there, and as you can see, we did expect for the market to come down and just continue to go up until our intended target here, but we lacked strength enough in the Canadian dollar to go, given the fact that on Monday the euro fell, and also the Canadian dollar has lost strength from Monday and Tuesday. So this is evident in this chart. I hope you're following correlation. If you are not, let me register you. This course is free. You don't need to pay anybody for this course. Remember, this is what happened on Monday. We failed to reach our intended target on Monday. We retested again, and then on Tuesday it was clear enough on Tuesday that we lacked strength on both currencies. On Tuesday, we did lack strength to take out the previous day's low. Even the previous day's high, we stayed within that day. And that's when I knew that this is going to be a drag. And this happened. Look at this. This has been, up until Friday, this has always been playing sideways. This has always been playing sideways during the week because of the strength that I mentioned, that this was supposed to be an A setup which goes down, but it did not go down as we intended. That's why at Friday in the afternoon I broke even, because it makes no sense anymore. But we are still structured to the downside as things stand out. But for me, we are not going to trade this one during the week. So this is just one of those pairs where I've already did my break even. If we do go continue and take out the intended take profit from last week, bravo, fantastic. But if we do continue, let me clean this mess up. But if we do continue again to go and play sideways and we take out our break-even trade here, that's still fine too. I'm not interested in pairs that are not moving or that are not volatile. You must pick your pairs very, 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 very cautiously, because this to me is two pairs that are not relatively the weakest, but they still have some strength in them, but it is not shown. It is shown only in this 50-50 kind of movement, no clear direction. This is what I'm dealing with. So I've already broken even, because on Friday this is where I expected, after this strong spike of a retest to the price, I expected the market to go directly to our take profit, but still it did not. So we cannot control the market. We are just calm, and we will see what transpires next. So without wasting further time, I'm not looking very much into this um, currency of this currency pair of euro and the Canadian dollar. This is not uh, what I'm looking for. This setup is not clear, but if I were to trade it, and or if this is your currency, your favorite pair, you might intend to look for short opportunities. So without wasting further time, let's go over and see what will happen next week. So very simply put, going into this week, I'm not gonna do a lot of analysis on this. We already did our analysis last week, so if it doesn't pan out as we expect it to be, this is going to be our setup. So if we do come out and we take our break-even trade out, it's still fine. We don't chase it. But if we do come out, retest the last time around this area right here, 1.6030, 1.6018, and then we do not take out our break-even setup here, we will still continue over to the downside, the very same intended target that we were looking for at 1.5928. This would still be a fantastic setup for us, but we're not gonna dive too much into details here, because I still think they are equally matched during this week. And with this happening right now, this accumulation uh, phase that is going on right now between the two, I don't want to be part of the buys yet. Only if the buys, if I'm going to buy this, it's going to be next week with a clear structure. Right now nothing is clear, so I'm not interested. Let's go over to our pound and the Canadian dollar to see what happened during the week. So very simply put, the Canadian dollar and the pound was one of those fantastic pairs from last week. And since they were fantastic pairs from last week, we did not, the pound was so weak, it did not reach our intended target. But remember, given the fact that we are now using what? Correlation, and correlation will most likely tell you if the pound, the euro, the Canadian dollar, the dollar is going to be strong or weak. If you are smart enough, in some cases you can realize that all the pairs that I'm sharing live here are correlated. So without wasting further time, let's jump over and see what truly happened last week. Now, last week we were expecting a pullback up like this, and then a sharp sell to the downside for to 1.8492. So without wasting further time, let's see what transpired during that week. This was Monday. This was Tuesday. Tuesday was when we entered. Uh, this was the setup, the struggle to reach this intended area, and the struggle to reach this intended area was forced due to, on the pound and the dollar, at this time the pound was already down, and this happened due to the fact that on Monday the Canadian dollar lost strength too, but on Tuesday it revealed itself to be more of a sell than anyone would have anticipated who was waiting for this. If you missed this trade because you were waiting for this, it is not a problem at all. It's what happens to the market. The market needs you to understand that some trade you will miss because you did not do anything wrong. Some trade you will lose because you did not do anything wrong. It is just a business of probabilities. So please keep in mind that don't fear missing out like this. But if you are one of us, you probably had this sell and it was fantastic, 1:3 to the downside, and this was our intended signal. So fantastically, so we were out, we took out this fantastic set. And please do not forget, registering is free. Seeing these signals play out as we intend them to be, it's fantastic also. So forget about not making money. Forget about having stress trying to pick out which currency pair is the best, what to trade, what not to trade, how to do risk management, what is the best setup going into next week. No, forget that. Make sure that you are part of us, and we will make sure that we enlighten you and keep you updated. All you have to do is register, verify your account, your trading account, fund your account. We are only part of uh, a community that involves only real account traders. So if you have minimum of $100, make sure you fund and you start earning from there. But if you want to test the waters, for those of you who want to test the waters, it is easier for you to test us and then realize that we are doing fantastically. So over after a month, if you are not up to $100, then you will be closer to $100. Then we can move you, because week in and week out we stand to make money in the market while other people are struggling, and it is a sad story. So without wasting further time, let's go over to the Canadian dollar and the pound to see what will happen going into next week. So with the pound and the Canadian dollar this week, we are only looking for selling opportunities also. And this is the case. If we are going to see a perfect setup for us, we will see a continuation to this area right here between 1.8559 and 1.8534. That will be the fantastic place for us to look for sell setups, and then continue over down to 1.3 1.8435. This will be a fantastic setup for me. Remember, this is the pullback that we are expecting. This is the pullback that we are expecting, and a continuation to the downside will be fantastic for us. So without wasting further time, this is another A plus setup, but it does not necessarily mean it is going to play out as it is. So that is why you have to weigh your A plus setup as the same scale as the one that looks a little bit impossible to do, or not with the highest risk, or not with the highest probability to happen. So you have to treat this the same thing as the same thing. You have to treat this as the same thing. You have to treat this with the same respect. So you cannot just say because this one has the highest probability of happening, now you are going to place your entire life savings on this. No, that's not how it happens. That's not how we do it. Here in VinnBoss Signal Factory, what you have to do is put the emotion out of it, let the system work for itself, and then enjoy profits. And mostly you will get profits because you focus. Some people, like I said before, some people are still losing, whereas the signal is correct. It all depends on the mindset, and we also deal with the psychological part of the mindset. We also deal with the psychological part of the mindset, how to think and how to see things in the market and in real life too, because what you apply in the market you can also apply in real life too. You don't have to rush anything in real life. You don't have to feel like some people are much better than other people in real life. Do you understand? Which comes to the same thing that I've just said. You don't have to feel that some of the setups are better than others, so you would let these ones go. And no, you have to treat them the same. Do you understand? So yeah, with that being said, Thank you for watching this video up to this far. Let's go over to the last two pairs, which is the euro and the pound, and last but not least, the US dollar and the Canadian dollar. Yes, and we have now moved on to the euro and the pound. And with the euro and the pound, there are some slight differences that we were spotted last week. The week before last, we did not trade this pair as it was not clear enough like the euro and the card is right now. But thankfully, last week it showed us the direction, and then we are now following the trend. So without wasting much of our time, because I try to keep these videos as short as possible, but I also have to make sure that everybody understands and see how trading it is done without lying and complicating things. So without wasting further time, let's jump in. Now, from Monday, the pound just fell last week, and what we the week before last, and what we were expecting from last week is a bounce from this 1.0 0.8596 and 0.8571. Advance at either one of these would significantly mean we are continuing to the upside. It would significantly mean we are buying this pair. So let's go into the weekly basis and see what truly happened during the weekdays. So after this bounce, it was a fantastic setup. It was also a fantastic setup to bounce from this level right here to the upside. So we did not enter as we were much expecting the pound to push the dollar here, but we entered here, as you can see, and the rest is history. This was, remember, I want to show you, let's talk about this first, the psychology behind trading. Now this psychology means that once we entered here, everybody's mood was okay, and then once the market came below this market price, everybody's mood was not okay. In fact, it was rather sad. So this means that the psychology to understand that this is as much as irrelevant as this move down, this move upward is much as irrelevant as this move downward until we hit the stop loss. I remember it was here before I did a break even on Friday. Before it hit the stop loss below this area, it is still, whatever you see after you have just entered the trade, it is irrelevant. What you have to do is focus only on the take profit above or the stop loss below, which in turn was, we are still in this trade. So let's jump in and show you what is happening. And yeah, imagine having, some traders cannot imagine having, after the first trade that you take, you go into profit, and now you go into the negative. Traders lose money here. Some traders don't lose money, they trade only once, because they understand that the stop loss is well calculated and well placed. So if it is out, it means the market needed to take that stop loss out. It is not, it does not necessarily mean the setup was fake or the setup was not well calculated. No, accept the loss and move on. Do not revenge trade. Don't try to revenge. And so let's go over and understand that if this goes up again, the trader emotion becomes good. Everybody is smiling, and as it goes down like this, trader emotion goes sad. Do you understand the psychology? It means we have entered on Tuesday, Wednesday we were still in, Thursday we were still in, and then Friday morning, I remember this, people were like, I think I should close this today because we are going into the weekend, we have already won with other currency pairs. And I was like, no, every pair, treat it as its own individual scenario. Do not compare the two, even though we are trading correlation. And then, fantastically enough, the pound fell dozen of pips, and then this was the scenario that took place on Friday. Everybody was happy, but remember, for me, I am always like this. This is me, okay? After take profit, or even before take profit, stop loss, and during the trade, this is me. It doesn't matter. I'm not smiling or I'm not sad. I'm just, do you understand what I'm trying to teach you? It doesn't matter. The results you only get on stop loss, take profit. The rest just needs you to be mentally strong and not to falter around with weak mindset. So this is our setup. This is what happened. This is still the setup, and the take profit is slightly above our intended take profit, because we take nothing that is less than 1:3. We cannot afford to take anything that is cheaper than that. So this is where our 1:3 take profit is 0.8683. So that is our take profit, and that means we will be going into next week with this kind of setup. The only time we are going to lose this setup is if we are going to see this pullback go and take out the break even right there. That is the only way that setup is going to lose. So let's jump in and go over to see what next week has in store for us on the euro and the pound. So with the euro pound, what I'm expecting this week is nothing short of a buy, but we are looking to buy from this area right here, like we always do with our liquidity and demand zone. This is 0.8642 and 0.8635. This is the area where, if from the beginning of the week on Monday we might get a pullback, this will be a fantastic place for us to look for bullish opportunities and take this to the upside. Remember, in here in here we still have take profit right around this area right here, so we would not very much trade this many times. But before we take profit, if we do get the same sense of structure that I said we might get, we will still be looking for buying this. So this is the plan for us, VinnBoss Signal Factory members. If you are already in a trade and this is our take profit, and instead of going straight to the take profit, we start consolidating, this will be a great place to look for a second buy again, to continue and take double profits. Maybe another take profit will be higher than the one we have right now, or it will be at the same place. It will be discussed during our daily sessions on VinnBoss Signal Factory live video analysis. So without wasting further time, this is the euro. We are not looking for any shorts. If we have a short setup that goes beyond like this is when we will start looking for selling opportunities. But and it doesn't look very likely, but this is the market, as we all know. If this happens, we get small profit like this one from our break-even trade, then yes, we will start looking for bearish opportunities. If we break 0.8596 right here, then we would start looking for bearish opportunities. But for now, we are only looking for buying opportunities. So this is our euro pound setup. We are looking for buying opportunities, and yes, let's go over to the last pair of this analysis, which is the US dollar and the Canadian dollar. And with the last but not least, the US dollar and the Canadian dollar, what we do have is what we did have, or what we did expect last week, was this looked like I remember mentioning this looked, if you are a wave trader, you would know that this looked more like a reversal. But because what we see and what we know and what we do are totally different things, and we have to stick with what the strategy says, we were looking for short opportunities right around this level here, which is 1.3666 and 1.3652. And remember, just like any other currency pair, if we do get a sharp pullback that has no stopping momentum, just through and breaking, even breaking above 1.3698, our highest of the week, then we would now look forward buying opportunities to the upside. Remember, everything that we are sharing now on this video has been done last week on our daily signals live videos. So what we did is out there. So let's jump in and see what the Canadian dollar did have for us in store. Now this is the week from Monday. I did mention that the Canadian dollar had lost strength from Monday. Now we jumped in on Monday after this beautiful setup. We jumped in, we lacked momentum to go and take out our intended, remember, our intended take profit. So this is our intended take profit is right here at 1.3555. Now going deeper into the week, we were not out yet. We became out when it was on Wednesday. Okay, we got stopped out on Wednesday right here. We got stopped out right there, and then after being stopped out, what happened? What was next? What I truly saw was this was a non-stopping pullback right through our liquidity zone. We did try to come to terms with the fact that we still had to buy, to sell this pair, because it was not far out of our liquidity zone. So we decided to jump in, put the stop loss above here, our weekly high, and then we get stopped out. After being stopped out, what comes to mind? Remember, let's make an example with this, right? Let's make an example. Okay, let me clean the chart first, and then if this is the setup and this is our weekly high, what I'm expecting to see is this, and then a continuation to the downside. Yet if we do break this level right here like this, what do I expect? A small pullback and a buy, which is something that almost happened. If you check this, let's go again and clean the chart. Let me show you. I'm teaching you live right now. This is still the level. Look at what the price did. It broke up from this area to the upside, and then almost came back and retested this like this, and then started continuing up. So let's see why some of our traders, we got in a buys, and some were like, we don't feel this buy is safe, so we will wait for next week to see how actually the market plays out, which was a fantastic idea also. But we did make money with a spike to mention, and it was dramatic. People felt like they missed out, and I had to calm them emotionally, like, this is not missing out, this is making a better informed decisions. So let's jump in and see what happened during that. This was our buy setup right here. I remember this was our buy setup, and there came a spike that came down and then spiked everything all the way to the top to make our 1:3, because we have now broken this area where we would call it the change of structure. If we reach that level, the structure has completely changed no matter what. Now let's go in and see. This is why, again, also remember, I want to make sure that you guys understand this video. You watch it over and over during the week. If you are not registered with us, you watch it over and over during the week. Make sure that you understand what is happening. Now remember, in the euro and the CAD, we had this, something like this. It was not clear direction. The euro has fallen over the week, went down. The euro has went down, and then the pound, the Canadian dollar, as you can see right here, the dollar has increased against it. That means the Canadian dollar also went down. So if you take two currency pairs that are both weak, this is what you are going to get. This is the results. No direct winner, just consolidation. So I hope you understand that and it makes sense to you. So let's see what happened after we have jumped in. I remember there was one last pullback, and then this was it from this area. Oh, this was it from this area. We nearly got out, and some people, when they see the price is almost 5 pips away from my stop loss, they closed the trade, and after they closed the trade, the market went in our direction. This was a close enough call for us, and then from here to there we made 1:3. Fantastic. And then after the take profit, the market went directly down because the market was done moving from Monday, and then this was also when the Canadian dollar was regaining strength. So both the dollar and the Canadian dollar has been consolidating ever since the opening of the New York session on Monday. We were consolidating but to the upside. So let's go over to this week's Forex forecast and understand that what might transpire during this week's weekly Forex forecast on US dollar and Canadian dollar. So this is the final analysis of a currency or of currencies that we deal with this week. So it is very simply and easily put, as always. We are going to expect a pullback down to this level 1.3638, 1.3631, and if we do get great fantastic options right there, we will go above and take out profit at a new high of the new high from last week's from last week's high. So this is the fantastic place for us to look for bullish patterns and formations. We are looking to buy this pair. We are not looking to sell it. We are not looking to sell any US dollar, Canadian dollar. We are looking to buy the dollar. But if it happens that, as always, you have to be prepared for anything else and not be one-sided. That will include risk that is not managed. But if we do get a strong and sharp pullback like this, we already know that we will still be looking for a pullback to retest this area and then a continuation to the downside. This is what we are expecting. This is what we might get. This is not what we are not expecting, excuse me, for that matter. This is what we are not expecting, but this is what we might still get. So we better be prepared for all. But either way, the most and strongest options that we have to go with this this coming week is the buying opportunities. So I will highlight this last and last for the last time. So this is a pullback that I'm looking for. This is a great place to look for bullish patterns and formations, and this is the move that we will be looking for. Only this setup will make us more profit next week. But if we do get below Some people choose not to trade the ones that change the structure or that break the structure. It is fine, it is safer that way. But they do like to take these ones that are more direct, like this one. These ones are more direct. We are looking for buying opportunities. So that is it from VinnBoss Signal Factory. Please make sure you like and you subscribe to this video. Follow us for more videos like this every week, and make sure you register your account, you fund your account, and then you start trading with us week in and week out during the daily videos, during the weekdays. We do give daily videos to registered members on how to take the signals, on how to approach the signals, and we do give timely notifications on which areas have changed and which areas have not yet changed. But if you are not ready, you're still watching the videos, it is still fine. You can check the videos, make sure you don't miss any videos, and you can go as far as last year's videos to see how far we've been killing the market. So without wasting further time, I would say thank you for liking and subscribing and turning on the like button, because the notification button, because at the end of the day, when we drop a video, you must know as soon as possible. So thank you and happy trading.